Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Hanshaw. I'm the host of this program, and I'm very fortunate to still be here talking to you on this video. Today is another update on my health issues. It is December the 26th, as you can see on the date that this is of course. Today I want to talk about my fall on Christmas Eve. Now, those of you that follow me, subscribe to me on my channel, those of you with muscular dystrophy in particular, facioscapulohumeral muscular dystrophy, that's what I'm making these video diaries for. I've had this over 37 years. I am 51 years old. So I know a lot of you all email me. Some of y'all call me. Mostly it's email. And we talk about things, especially those of you all that's been recently diagnosed. You don't really know what life with FSHD holds, what's coming, etc. So that's the main reason I'm doing these videos, is to make this video diary on YouTube for you guys. It's got the FSHD, the facioscapulohumeral muscular dystrophy. It's called FSHD. And to let you know what you're in for, what's coming, what you can somewhat prepare for. I had no one to do this back in 1984 when I was diagnosed. I was, out on my own. I learned all these things the hard way. So when I walked, I had a lot of falls, of course. Began with my left leg falling. That's how I learned I had it. During a football game one night, I was quarterback on the football team, and my left leg kept falling down and buckling out from underneath me, and I couldn't stand up. I mean, for any length of time, I'd fall every 10, 15, 20 minutes. So that's how I found out that I had FSHD in 1984. I was 14 years old. Now I'm 51. I've had this over 37 years. I was diagnosed with this in October of 1984. So over the years, I walked up until March 15th, 2010. Used a leg brace the remainder of my high school years, 85, 86, 87, and 88 till I graduated high school. And then went into a wheelchair part-time in 88, my first year of college, August of 88, my first year of college. And then I just used that, though, when I had to walk long distances, just to make it easier so I wouldn't fall as much. I took the leg brace off after my senior year of high school and just did the wheelchair with a walking stick until March 15th of 2010. Still had falls periodically, because when your muscles leave, there's nothing to hold you up. So March 15th, 2010 comes around. I try to get up on my feet that morning, and I can no longer stand up or bear weight or walk. So here I am today, been totally confined to a wheelchair since March 15th, 2010 now. So that's going on 12 years. When I stopped walking completely, that was an entirely different new animal that I had to deal with. I had to relearn a lot of things over again. How to use the commode to put the toilet, how to pee in the urinal sitting down, how to use a commode, transferring, how to, drive my vehicle and transfer out of this into that. All kinds of stuff I had to relearn. What I did not take into consideration, though, was falling out of a wheelchair. I'd heard of it, I just didn't know how that happened. Well, this has happened to me now 3 times. Once, and I'm going to go through these relatively slow for those of you that, God forbid, end up in a wheelchair like me. And the thing with the facioscapulohumeral muscular dystrophy is 80% of you all, your legs will not be affected whatsoever. And that's awesome. You'll have strong legs, your arms and shoulders and face and mouth and all that will be affected, but not your legs. My video today is just for those of you that, God forbid, you will end up in a wheelchair. 20% of you will. So my first fall out of a wheelchair was, I've had actually 4. I'm just thinking of this other one. First time, I was at a lake by myself, and I was studying. I'm an author, so I was writing some stuff there, working on a project I was working on. I was alone. I was not married at the time. And I went to pee, and of course this is the time I could no longer stand up. This was around 2011. So I got too close to the edge of the chair, and I wasn't buckled in, because it's hard to pee with the seatbelt on, right? And I slipped off my wheelchair onto the ground below. Well, I had to crawl. I was a lot stronger 2011 than I am today, of course, because with this disease you get weaker as the years go by. For those of you that don't know anything about it that's watching this, there's no cure, no therapy, no therapy or any pill or anything that's going to make this better. It's an incurable muscle-eating disease that progressively and slowly gets worse with each and every passing year, right? So anyway, I got down on the ground and I landed square on my butt, and then I was able to scoot myself around to my ramp was down on the other side of the van. So I had to scoot all the way on the other side of the van on gravel about that big. And I cut my knuckles and hands all to pieces. And I was bleeding and bruised, but all that, But I was able to get up in the van, and I saw down over the hill they had a swimming area, and I was able to yell help. Took about 15 minutes, and they finally heard me. And a couple of boys and girls, teenagers, young men, maybe 20 years old, they helped me back into my wheelchair, and then I was on my way. Thankfully, no injury. The next time I fell out of my wheelchair was I was married to a woman in 2012 or 2013 or somewhere around that time era. And I was in a real hurry. And again, I was just got done peeing, and I was still sitting on the edge of my chair. I was going back to my office I was either on a phone call or I was going to make one. I was in a hurry, whatever I was doing. So I was rolling down the hallway there in our home. I was sitting on the edge of my chair. I hadn't scooted all the way back yet. And I was kind of leaned forward. Wasn't thinking about anything except what I was doing. I think it was a phone call or something. All of a sudden, my chair stopped dead. And I was going pretty fast there. Stopped, threw me into the floor. And my wife there, thankfully, she was able to get me back up into my chair. I was hurt. No injuries, no serious injuries. Nothing broken. Just banged up, bruised up, all that. And I landed in the corner of a doorway. And that hurt. That hurt. And so the next time I fell was years later. It would have been about, it was in 2019. I was in my van peeing again. And I got too close to the edge of my chair again. Slid off. Well, evidently I'd left my chair on, or it turned on the way down. I hit it or whatever it was on. When I hit the footrest of my wheelchair, my chair started ramming me. I was in my van at this time, ramming me into the door of my van, back and forth. Because every time I'd go to shut it off, my shirt sleeve would catch it, move it, bring it back and forth. And absolute miracle, I didn't get injured right there, seriously injured. And so 2 nights ago, Christmas Eve, I was going to go to bed about 11:30 or so. My laundry basket was, I'm alone now, I have no one living with me. I do have home health nurses that comes in 8 every morning till about 1 or 2 of the afternoon. They cook for me, go shopping, and bathe me and all that stuff. So they're here 5 or 6 hours a day. So 11:30 on Christmas Eve, 2 nights ago, I was in there moving my laundry basket out of my way so I could get my wheelchair next to the bed and put myself to bed. And I put myself to bed. It's very risky, very dangerous, very hard on me. Listen, I live a very hard life, y'all. Trying to do this all by myself is mind-boggling. It's just unbelievable, really. But at this point, I'm now looking absolutely to go into a nursing home. There's no other way around it. Here's why. Christmas Eve, 2 nights ago, I was going to move that laundry basket out of my way so I could get my chair in next to my bed to go to bed. I don't know how I've moved it dozens of times. Somehow that laundry basket caught me the wrong way, just threw me off balance or whatever. Within a split second, before I knew it, I landed, it threw me out of my chair. And I wish I could draw this for you. But I landed on top of that laundry basket. It's a hard plastic laundry basket. I landed on top of that, face down, with my neck on the rim. Right there is sore. It's still sore. Right there. My left leg was caught under me inside the basket. You can see the marks on my hand there, the bruising. My knees landed on a hard concrete floor. My floors in this apartment where I live are concrete. And I'm 98 pounds and I'm bony, just bony. Very little meat on my body. And that was about 11:30 on Christmas Eve night. I did not have my life alert, that's what this is, around my neck. It was on my wheelchair arm. The way I landed, I couldn't reach this wheelchair arm. So that was useless to me. Now, I'm wearing this around my neck. My phone was in here on the charger on my desk. That was out of reach to me because I was in my bedroom. Now, I mean, I don't have any strength to move, of course. So, I mean, you can see my arms here. See how little they are? This one's the same way. My legs, they're little. I weigh about 98 pounds or so. So, the long story short is, where I land is how I lay in a catastrophic event such as that. So, my bladder, my pelvis bones was caught on this end of the basket. My knees was on the floor. My neck was on the upper end of the basket on my windpipe. So what basically happened is this. I lay there from 11:30 that night, Christmas Eve night, till 8 the next morning till my nurse showed up. Smothering, having my air cut off on my windpipe. I thought I was going to die. I honest to God thought, this is it. I'm going to choke to death. I'm going to just smother out because I couldn't move. I tried to move, but you know, I'm dead weight and I have no muscles from which to move. There's no muscle there. I tried to jerk. I tried to squirm. I tried yelling help. No one heard me. So I, honest to God, thought I was going to die. I thought that this is how I'm going to die. This is it. So once I came to that realization that number one, that I couldn't move, I was stuck. Number two, yelling help was pointless. No one was going to hear me. So the third thing I thought of was survival mode. I said, okay, I've got to figure out a way to make the best of this horrific, horrible, horrendous, dangerous, potentially deadly situation. Tried to stay calm, but you know, I'm saying all this for your benefit, so God forbid you ever get in a situation where you're alone. You know, don't panic. You know, and you know, I wanted to panic, and I did panic a couple of times, but I knew that if I did that, I was either going to A, work myself into a heart attack, or B, I was going to exert all the strength I did have going into this panic attack, which I knew that I had to conserve what strength I do have, right? So I thought that through, and I thought, okay, let's try to make the best of this, and let's see if we can stay alive. So survival that night was my main priority. And I just told myself, try to ignore the pain. Try to get a little bit of sleep in when you can. I didn't want to go all the way to sleep. And I told myself this because I knew if I did, my full weight was going to go down on my neck and cut my wind off, and I'd smother to death, which is nearly what happened anyway. So I just relaxed my whole body, and I just got myself in a survival mentality. And what I learned through this incident was this. When I did that, then I took deep breaths, much as I could, just to calm myself down, right? And so what I did, I lay there and I just said, let's go with this. Basically, I came to the realization, if I die, I die. But I've got to remain calm, no matter what, right? See, where a lot of people mess up in situations, in survival situations like this, is they panic, they get scared, they let fear take it, they let their thoughts run amiss and run wild. And you can't do that. You've got to stay in control of your mind. Okay, that's a big key right here. You've got to keep control of your thinking, of your thoughts. I can't emphasize that enough. Because a few times in there, till I came to terms with, I'm here for the night. There's nothing I can do about it. See, I tried to move, tried to squirm, tried to push myself over, tried to reach my life alert on my wheelchair, all that. Once I went through all of that and I knew that I was there for the night, then the panic hit. And then after just a little bit of that, I broke out into a hard, hot sweat. Because of the fear of absolutely death. Dying that way. And so, I want you to take away from this video today. If you have FSHD, and it does affect your legs, the 20% of you, where it will affect your legs. I'm going to make a couple of statements here. These are for your benefit only. If you live alone like I do, number one, get you a life alert like this that is connected to 911 to, like if I hit this right now, an operator gets on there and says, hello, Von Hanshaw, are you in an emergency? And I'll say yes. What do you need? And I'll tell them. They will send either the ambulance, the fire, or the police, or all three if I need them. Get this, this is your lifeline. Always have your cell phone in your pocket. Now, what I'm doing is charging my phone of a night when I go to bed, so I don't have to during the day. Okay? Make sure you do that. Make sure your phone, right now my phone, I'm recording on my phone, right? Make sure it's always in your pocket. Okay? If your physical disability gets to the level where I'm at, God forbid, to where you cannot do anything for yourself once you're down like that and you live alone, then my friend, it is time for you to seriously consider checking into a nursing home. That's what they're there for. Now, the way I'm doing this, I'm a man, I like to think everything through, right? I try not to, I've done it over my life a time or three, but I try not to be a very impulsive, compulsive, rash decision maker. And that's why, I've lived this long, right? So the way I'm doing the nursing homes is I went online and found a list of every nursing home in the state of Kentucky where I live. Okay. The next thing I did was wrote all those nursing homes down, their name, their address, their phone numbers, in a notebook. The next thing I did was went and found out their ratings. It's either their rating here in Kentucky is on the stars, 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star, or 5 star rating. 5 stars is the best rating, right? 1 star is the worst. So I went down, found that list, wrote down the ratings in different color, in red ink's what I did, beside each nursing home. And all I'm doing, I've been doing this for about 3 months actually, is I'm only calling those with a 3, 4, or 5 level rating. And what that basically means is I should get adequate care at that facility wherever I decide to go. Now, once I did that, I've already called a bunch of them. Then I ask questions that I come up with, because I'm going there to spend the rest of my life there. See, that's going to be my home until I die, right? So, number one question I ask, do you all allow power wheelchairs? A lot of them say no. So I mark those off of my list because I can't use a manual chair. That's just out of the question. I'm sorry I'm swallowing so much, y'all. My throat's really sore from that fall the other night where my neck was hanging on that basket for 9 straight hours. So it's a little bit hard to talk here, but I'm good. I'm getting through it. Let me get a drink of water. Bear with me here just a minute. That might help. So I ask other questions like, I like to read and write. I'm an author. I've written a lot of books. So I ask them, are the rooms big enough for me to bring my little desk, my little writing desk, and my computer in there? Because I'm only 51, I'm young, and I'm still alert and in my right mind. So a lot of them don't allow that, or the rooms aren't big enough for that. Okay? So what I'm doing, I'm weeding out those nursing homes that don't allow what I need or what I want. Okay? And so the ones that are left, the good rated ones that do allow the power chairs, that do have adequate room for a desk, that do allow a computer, then what I do is what I'm going to start doing tomorrow, Monday morning. As a matter of fact, I'm going to call those back. I was waiting till after the holidays, not knowing I was going to fall, and all this. So we're going to call tomorrow and see which one has an opening for me, which one has a bed available, and I'm going to a nursing home. Done made up my mind, I'm gone, because it's now a safety issue on me. I'm now unsafe in my own home. because the way I have to get on and off of my bedside commode, and there's no one here. When those nurses leave at 1 or 2 every day, I'm here alone all day. Now, right now, thankfully I've got a couple of neighbors that are very good friends of mine, and they come every night now that I've had my fall. They started last night. They're going to help me get to bed till I get into a nursing home, just to make sure that I'm taken care of that way. But, and I can't pay them. They're just doing it out of the goodness of their heart, right? So, that's what I'm doing at this level of the severity of the disability, the facioscapulohumeral dystrophy, right? Muscular dystrophy. And it's just a safety issue now. So thankfully, I'm still here making these videos. It's an absolute miracle that I did not die the other night. It's a miracle. Especially the way my windpipe was nearly cut off. I mean, I don't know how I breathed all night. I did a lot of nose breathing that night. And what I did do, I found a piece of steel under my bed, about probably 3 or 4 inches tall, 5 inches tall. And what I would do, I would get that, because my head was this way, on that laundry basket. It was right there. I'd get that steel and wedge it under my jaw and to try to push up off of my windpipe. I'd done that for 9 hours. And now my jaw's sore and real sore and bruised and all of that. But part of it, I guess, guys. But hope you enjoy these videos, and hope I say some stuff making these videos that helps you, especially those of you that live alone, and those of you that want to know kind of what's coming, especially those of you that are that's got leg weakness associated with your FSHD. So, that's all I've got on this video. Y'all take care.